Okay, we're going to do another episode of the board meeting. I was hoping Pootie was going to join us, but he didn't answer the phone like he said he was going to do. So I guess I'm on my own. But before we start the wonderful board meeting, I want to look at this Willamette Week article because it's very telling about your transit district. Trimet promises free rides to bus cooling centers. What happens if somebody asks for a free trip to a cooling center when the temperature is 99? What happened there was Trimet tweeted out, if it's above 100 degrees, you can get a free ride to a cooling center, which set off the whole Twitter ratio. You know, Trimet is always sticking their heads in the shit, man. Okay, they always say the wrong thing. Anyway, set off this tweet storm about who decides when it's going to be 100 degrees and what if it's 100 degrees in one place and not another. Anyway, let's look at this article. Regional Transit Agency offered to pick up rides to cooling centers during a heat wave, but only if the temperatures reach 100 degrees. After Willamette Week published a story, Trimet changed its policy and anyone traveling to a cooling center could ride free. The announcement of the original policy on Thursday was intended to provide greater clarity to the public than June's fatal 117-degree heat dome, which a whole bunch of people died that shouldn't have died. But, this is America, the land of the free, where you're free to die in a ditch. And they did die in a ditch. And nobody cares because this is America, and the whole middle class doesn't care about the lower class. So that's the way it is in this country. Agency officials clarified Thursday that the free rides kick in once the mercury hits 100 degrees anywhere in Portland. And here's the issue. After internal discussion, we decided on the 100-degree threshold. Okay, let me repeat that. After internal discussion. There is the problem right there with your transit district. It's not your transit district. It's their transit district. They are making the decisions about all of this, not you. They will decide. They are your masters, and you are the serfs, and they will decide what's good for you. And so there you go. That's what I wanted to show you. They backed off from this and said, okay, you can ride if it's hot. If you want to go to a goddamn, cooling center, they won't. But of course, the next problem is what kind of driver. Some drivers aren't going to make an issue, and other drivers are. And this I've seen a lot of people on Twitter recently understand that it depends on who you get for a driver more than anything else, because some drivers like me and other people I knew are not going to give you a hard time about the fares anyway, on any day, never mind on a hot day. But there's other drivers that make a big deal out of it, and it's like they treat it like it's coming out of their pocketbook. And unfortunately, when you get one of those drivers, you're going to have a problem. There's no consistency at the Trimet. And that was the same way when I was there many years ago now. It's over a decade ago. But I listened to it. As you know, it's one of my favorite entertainment. And nothing has changed. Nothing ever changes. It makes money. Excuse me while I multitask. Okay, anyway, back to this clown show. Okay, we got the security report. It is what it is. Oh yeah, I wanted to mention too, me and Pootie had, wait a minute, yeah. We had a whole long discussion here, very uncomplimentary to Trimet. And they deleted it. It's deleted it all. Now I don't see any. Yeah. I can't even get the other one. Okay, well, whatever. They deleted our chat. And what's the comment here? One comment. All right, back to the. You see how many
Thank you all.
chicken salad, tuna salad you got in
So,
there.
Marla, thank you.
This is almost
as
done.
we
The chicken
come back.
salad's almost done. You done with it?
Director Wade, just want to let you
Oh,
know
okay.
as well, we
Take it back.
will be giving the board a full update in September on the Reimagine public safety. So
The Reimagine public. The bullshit never stops when you're a Trimet executive. Where's the fucking crisis team? Where's the crisis
we'll be
team?
coming in front of the board and kind of putting everything on the table and laying everything out.
Why don't you get 5 pounds of percent?
Marla, just want to thank you for all the efforts that the division has done over the last 12 months. So really, really appreciate that. All right, so wanted to kind of transition over into the historic heat wave that we faced.
This was the historic Trimet fail.
Late last month, Trimet in the region experienced.
Let's hear how they spin. The. Oh Jesus, crazy brothers down here. Let's hear how they spin this massive failure they had.
It's the highest temperatures ever recorded.
This
extreme heat pushed our system to the breaking point, and we
had
no choice but to temporarily.
Hold on, people. All right, Pootie calls me back after I've started. Welcome.
You called me from a landline. Jeez, come on, man.
I did call you from a landline, but now that landline gets forwarded back to my cell. I don't answer the landline. I only call out from the landline. So it doesn't matter. You're on the cell. You're on the cell, and I've already started because I thought you were going to stand me up. Huh?
Okay. Well, what are we doing?
Okay. We just started the segment here where they're going to talk about the historic heat wave. Okay, it's just started.
I love the heat wave.
Yeah, the historic heat wave where they had the massive light rail fail and everybody got stranded and they pulled the buses off the bus routes and put.
Oh, this was the June one.
Yeah, this is the big one where the Max failed for a couple of days. Okay, so let's start. He hasn't started it yet. I was just commenting about it. So what I'm interested in here is what? What?
The heat.
Oh yes, I'm not up there yet.
All right, I'll call you at 10.
I can barely hear
But yeah.
your computer.
Suspend service.
Can you hear this?
For about 2.5 days on the Max system.
Very little.
We could not safely run trains with the unprecedented heat temperatures, which caused the overhead wires to sag down. It stressed our rail equipment and our trains, as well as our buses and the cooling systems at our facilities. As you know, it melted a power cable on the Portland streetcar system, forcing streetcar service to be disrupted as well. So systems here in the Pacific Northwest, they are built to typical medium temperature ranges. And climate change has now exceeded those temperature ranges. So I want to let you know what we're doing.
All right, you have any comments on that, Pootie?
Yeah. Bullshit on the climate change. Bullshit on climate change.
Well, what do you mean by that? What do you mean bullshit on the climate change? It's obviously a phenomenon.
That was a 3-day oddity, not a usual occurrence. They keep claiming climate change like, oh, it's supposed to be 99 today and 97 tomorrow, and then back to the 80s. That's a heat wave. Climate change. We get 90 days here. That was an oddity.
Yes, but it was still, as a result.
It's a way for them to sell their whole, we need more money for renewable shit because of climate change.
Well, okay.
Let's call it what it was. It was a weather event, just like the snow in February.
All right, fine. Let's not get hung up on that. What about the Trimet breakdown? I mean, my issue is they built a system that can't take extremes. Just like you said, it couldn't take the ice and it can't take the heat. And so...
Well, my issue isn't necessarily about the heat. I guess that I understand that they didn't build it to the Phoenix, Arizona level. I get that. But the fact that what I'm stuck at is at 10, 11 o'clock in the morning, trains were broken down. the service was shut down 10, 11 a.m. They were running bus bridges. It took till 5 in the afternoon before somebody with a genius like you said.
Is that when the first? I mean, I was listening to this event live, as you may remember. I remember. I'm not sure. I forgot when it was a Green Line train that lost its pantograph. I don't remember.
There was a yellow line that also broke down in the morning that was blocking everything, which blocks the orange. The whole thing was shut down 10, 11 in the morning.
Okay.
And they were running all day. And it wasn't until about 5 in the afternoon, evening, that they actually canceled service. But they were running bus bridge all day. They should have just canceled it right then when they knew that it wasn't working. Like I said, they could have put any MAX operators who still had certified bus qualifications in buses, all bus white shirts in buses, have the MAX white shirts take over the bus white shirt operations, and that would have ran the bus bridge that day. But no. Everybody's just got to go home and do their own thing, and they pulled buses from service, leaving people sitting on the street in 110, 15-degree weather, waiting for a bus that was never going to show.
Yeah, well, that's my issue. It's been my issue for years, is they don't believe in having backup. They don't believe in backup. They do everything they can to minimize hiring operators. They expect the current operators to always come to the rescue when this shit breaks down and they need help. They call the current operators to work extra.
I've never been a big fan of how they do the scheduling anyways. I mean, all this short run and all this other crap, just ditch it.
It's not a humane. It's not a humane system.
You work an 8-hour shift 4 days a week, okay? Maybe you got split times, maybe you don't when you're newer. That's fine. We got Rippy over here who's every other weekend is off for 4 or 5 days at his beach house.
He earns his vacation, okay? He doesn't take time off unless
he works 4 days, 5 days a week for a couple weeks, and then he's gone for 2 weeks. How's that possible?
Well, that's not what's happening, okay? That's not what's
It is what happened. It is what happened. Rippy signs up for his small shift.
Are you gonna turn this into a Rippy hate fest, or are we gonna watch the board?
No, I'm not turning into Rippy, but there's other operators just like him that have that ability where they.
Okay, I'm going to tell you right now, Pootie is not accurate with Rippy. Just going to make that clear in case somebody actually watches this. Rippy takes his time off, and he takes his time off when he gets his time off. He doesn't take extra time off. He gets 3 weeks vacation a year. Plus,
But he's only scheduled to work less than 40 hours a week anyway.
He is not. He's working 10 hours a day.
Oh, he says he did, but I don't believe it.
Okay, you're just using this as a platform to rip Rippy. Are we going to do the board?
I don't need to use this to rip Rippy. I can do that on Twitter. I'm just posting his actual Twitter shows that he's off a lot.
Jesus Christ, man.
But other operators do the same thing, and that's they're using it for their own benefit, which that's the way the rules are set. Good for them.
Look, okay.
You ran the short run, right?
Yeah, well, I was only a part-timer, yeah.
Yeah, you never went full-time.
No.
See, all drivers go full-time.
Most do because they need the money, yeah.
Well, don't require time. If you're Trimet, you can't hire. Don't allow people to stay part-time. You go full-time or you're gone. We'll find somebody else that wants to get.
No, you can stay part-time. You don't have to go.
You got to put butts in those seats. Otherwise, the buses aren't going to move. That's all I'm saying. Is Trimet needs to do a better job of figuring out how to get asses in those seats. Because that's what's hurting the people.
Well, yes. That's what I'm trying to say, that you turned into a Rippy fest here. Is they don't have backup drivers. I've been saying for years they need to have 10 people as backup drivers, okay? That would cost them $1 million a year. or maybe $2 million for 2 shifts. But they don't want to do that. They want to take all that money and give it to capital projects. They don't want to beef up the direct service. They don't want to spend money like that. They want to spend the money on capital projects because capital projects feeds the elites. Trimet is owned by the elites like every other governmental function. So they don't have enough drivers. They never had enough. They didn't have enough drivers when I was there. There was a shortage. And that's because they don't want to hire people. Because that means they have to pay people and they have to pay them benefits, etc. So they don't do it.
Well, literally,
what?
Literally, I think they need to cut some routes. But
cut some routes?
Oh yeah.
Like what routes?
No, like the 34.
You can't.
That one goes. The 154 could go.
You have to have. Look, there's no point in having a transit system if it doesn't operate around the region. Okay. It doesn't.
Well, no. There's other buses in the area. There's just some push routes that the seniors get that really go away.
Yeah, well, your thinking
people
is wrong. That's wrong, huh?
How about stopping the 30 all the way to Estacada? Who goes all the way to Estacada? 2 or 3 people?
I used to drive that run. People actually rode that bus.
Yeah, cut that damn thing.
No. All right. Are you going to turn this into an Al versus Pootie argument, or are we going to watch the board meeting here?
Well, no, because if your idea that Estacada needs routes, then I would say, why isn't there buses to Malala? Why are the
because
buses
Malala, isn't there a bus to Malala? There is a bus to Malala.
No, there isn't. There's a bus to Clackamas Community College, and then there's a Malala bus, not Trimet, that takes people to Malala.
Really?
But why isn't there a Trimet bus to Malala?
I thought Malala was in the district. Maybe it's not in the district.
No, it is. It's in Clackamas County.
Okay, well, what happened to there used to be a bus? There used to be a bus that went there. What happened to it?
They've never had a bus there. Malala runs their own bus that's straight to Clackamas Community College, picks up from there, and takes people back to Malala. So what makes Malala better than Estacada? What about Silverton? What about Mount Hood? Mount Hood, lots of parts of Mount Hood, like Welch's and even Timberline, is Clackamas County. Where's the Trimet buses to Timberline?
They have a bus to Timberline, but it's not Trimet.
No, Trimet bus.
Well, I don't know. I don't know about that. I don't know.
Well, see, that's the thing. I'm not doing a Pootie versus Al thing here. I'm just saying, if you're saying that Estacada is okay for the few people that go to and from, what I'm just mentioning other places within the metro area, the Clackamas County. I mean, hey, isn't Banks and Gaston? That's Washington County. Where's the buses out there? Hag Lake. Where's the bus to Hag Lake? Come on, Trimet.
I don't know.
Multnomah County's small. That's too easy to play with. But when you talk about Clackamas and Washington counties, they extend pretty far, and there's no bus past Forest Grove.
Well,
no bus past. I'm just playing devil's advocate here. If you're going to say Estacada deserves a bus, then I say there should be a bus to Timberline Lodge.
Well, there should be. Of course.
In the snow. Put the chains on. Let's do it.
Yeah. Look, that's got nothing to do with what we're talking about here. We're talking about goddamn max disruptions and Trimet's inability to have backup for when that happens. I mean, the max has been disrupted 3 times today already. Okay? They should have backup. Ready to go. Okay? So there's some kind of disruption. Send in your backup immediately, you know, and however long it takes to get the max running again, it's okay because you have buses ready to go, you know. And the way they're doing it, they put.
You know my stance.
What's your stance? Your stance is what?
When max breaks down, then max riders have to sit there on the platform and wait for the next train to come.
Well, yeah.
Don't pull buses.
That's how I feel about it too. I feel that would be the right way to handle it, unless you have extra buses, which is what I'm advocating for. What?
Well, extra buses would be nice, but hey, if a driver calls out sick and they can't fill a run on a bus, that run's just canceled. Hey, if the max can't show up on that, it's just canceled. It'd be nice to have all the extra drivers, but let's not show special privilege to the max.
Well, I agree with you there. I agree with you about that.
Obviously, we need more bus drivers and more service, but until that actually happens, or it doesn't, which will never happen, hey, max riders, you get stranded. Bus riders, your driver calls out sick, you're locked.
Well, look, wait a minute, stop.
You have to wait. Quit playing Robin Hood and stealing one for every other.
Okay, listen, you. I'm talking about having enough backup drivers for when they do have backup drivers for when drivers get sick. It's called the extra board, okay?
Yeah, they don't, Al.
What do you mean they don't? They have that's the purpose of the extra board. Is to take...
They don't.
What do you mean they don't? Don't tell me what they don't. I used to work there. They have an extra... It's called an extra board. It means when they need an extra... What?
Hold on. You're getting all upset here. Hold on, let me pull up a call from today's calls that you haven't listened to yet. And I will show you that even with the extra board, they do not have...
Well, they don't have enough extra board, yes. I know that.
Well, they don't have more than enough. They have more canceled runs than they could have extra boards. Here, let's listen to this one here. It's the one on the phone, girl. Hold on, I'm going to help you.
Hey, it's 91. We're having problems here with so many cancel times. I really could use a fill on a line 54. If you could help out with that, I could have you do that and have your PM piece go away. It's a 54 of it in Oregon City, Clackamas Heights.
So there's one.
Yeah, okay, I understand that. I know.
They've already filled everything because I listened to all these calls. The extra boards are already filled up.
She just said they canceled a bunch of runs.
Because they've already used all their extra boards. I mean, how many more extra boards do you want them to have?
As many as they need to have. I want them to have as many as they need to have. I mean, every time a goddamn capital projects needs extra, here, give us an extra $5 million. It's no problem. They give it to them. Okay, I want operations to be treated like capital projects. Capital projects get everything it needs.
How many extra boards do you think they should have staffed?
10 per garage. 10 per garage. 3.
Okay.
Okay, that's what I think.
See, that's what I'm asking is, obviously we both agree they have to have enough extra boards, and I'm just going through today's calls that I've already listened to, and all the extra boards they've already had filled, but how many more should they have?
As many as they need to make sure the service runs. Okay, that's what because the service is what's important here. Okay, that's what's important.
Well, I agree. But here's another one on the 154, a little short bus to the rich people.
Good morning, 905. Would you be interested in helping out with the fill on a 154 Clackamas Heights trip? We have nobody to do that run, and there's only one bus out there.
Yeah, I've never done it before, but yeah, I can do it. I love it. One bus out there. All right.
Yeah. Well, okay. Look, my point is, the most important part of Trimet is the actual service on the ground, okay? All the other shit doesn't matter, but what does matter is the service on the ground. And the way they're doing transit is the service on the ground is the least funded and the least prepared for disruption. They have all of this shit going on at Trimet. You watch these board meetings, and you can see all the money going out for all the shit that nobody fucking cares about, but yet the goddamn service, there's no backup for Max, and there's not enough drivers to fill runs. So they're failing. It's a failing agency because they can't keep the service on the ground running. Okay, that's their problem, is that they can't keep the service on the ground running. They leave people stranded all the time. It's a failed transit system. Nobody in their right mind would use this system, okay? Because you know you could get stranded by them, all right?
You're preaching to the choir.
I know, but why aren't you agreeing with me then? I don't understand why you're disagreeing with me. Are you disagreeing with me?
I'm not necessarily disagreeing with you. What I'm saying, because you to Ozzy. I bring all this crap up. You were just liking tweets about the heat dome that I.
Yes, I like. Yes. But I'm just saying. I
try to be more. I have to be a little bit more rational.
What do you mean, rational?
I agree with everything.
Okay, then, and that's what they need to do. The transit district is prioritizing the wrong things. We agree about it, right?
I do. We agree. What I'm saying is, in my rational mind, is the crap isn't perfect like it should be, like you and me are talking about right now, the extra boards and everything else. So when it's not perfect, what Trimet is doing is trying to make it pretend like it's perfect, and they're hurting people by doing so.
Oh, well, yeah, they're lying. That's just public relations.
I mean, they're lying. So what they need to do, until they can get it perfect, I'm putting myself as I was GM Sammy. If I was GM Sammy day one, I would scrap all the lies. I would cut service in certain spots because I know I can't provide it. And I would take it down until I could build it back up to where it's supposed to be. Not take it to where it is now, where they're lying to people and then hurting people. I'd rather just scrap it down, cut runs, cut whatever I have to do, get it to where the amount of employees I have matches the amount of runs we have with the extra service, and then build it up to where it should be. What they're doing right now is, and that's where you're going off of it, they're saying that here's all our runs, but they don't have people to fill it. And then you're mad that they don't have people to fill it and they cancel it. I would just cut it down to the bottom and then build it back up. Because what they're doing right now is just a straight lie to everybody. They know it's a lie to everybody. And it hurts people. I'm just trying to be rational and say, hey, if we got to cut the 30, we got to cut this, we got to cut this, because we don't have the ops to do it yet, whatever the case is, let's put a system that works in place, even if it's not perfect, and then let's work up from there.
Well, that's good.
It's not that we don't agree. I just think you're going from it at the aspect of what the service is supposed to be right now, and you want that to happen right this second.
Well, I want them to have the staff to do the service. That's correct.
Correct, but I think the best idea is to break it down and build it back up,
well,
instead of just trying to fill all these holes where they're trying to do it right now.
Yeah, well, that's not a bad idea. No, I don't see that as a bad option. But you're going to strand people.
About how to do it.
Yeah.
My idea is just different. We agree.
Okay, well, they're not going to do that. They have to provide the service to certain areas to levy the tax, okay? For them to be able to collect that tax, they have to send a bus through there. All right?
Well, there's buses in all three counties, so they're meeting that. So it doesn't really matter at this point.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I know for them to collect the tax, they have to provide the service.
154 in Clackamas, they got the 57, 62, 52 out in Washington County. They got.
No, so you're saying just concentrate on frequent service and forget all the other lines.
I would say cut it down to where it's manageable with the staff you have to deal with the unexpected stuff that we complain about right now, like the bus bridges and all that garbage. Because right now they're trying to do it on a level that they just can't do it. It's not manageable.
Yeah.
So why lie to the people and make people think buses are coming? Just say, hey, you know what? We effed up. We're going to cut service. It's going to suck. We're going to take it back down to the bottom. We're going to reconfigure everything and then build it back up as we get more drive, more ops, and rebuild the whole thing.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
Some people are going to be left out.
I think that's a good idea in theory. There's nothing wrong with that idea. It makes perfect sense. But that's not what they're going to do. It makes perfect sense. There's nothing illogical about that point of view. It's perfectly rational. But they're not going to do that. But what they could do is step up the hiring 3 triples times speed, get more people in here to work. And so the real failure is in management's inability to keep operators employed and have sufficient operators. That is their biggest failure, is that they don't care enough about the service on the ground to make sure there's sufficient operators to keep it going, especially when things aren't going properly. They don't have.
Well, this I know you hate this. I know you hate this with a passion. But I'm going to tell you, it's part of being a unionized business. Okay, hear me out.
Yeah, go ahead.
I know a bunch of people that work at the Fred Meyer warehouse out here in Clackamas.
Yeah.
The grocery side is on strike, but that's a different union. The general merchandise side is a different union. They're working because of union rules. Fred Meyer's, if you didn't make your numbers in 3 months, they fired you. They didn't give you extra training if you were struggling. They just gave you a short training. Here's the job. Go. They acted like there was a line out the freaking gate of people that wanted to work there. They had a bad reputation, but they said, screw it. And because of union rules, even though they were becoming short-staffed, they still had to fire people because those were the rules they set to the union. You don't meet these qualifications, you're gone. Now all the seniority people, even people who have been there 8, 10 years, are working 6 days a week, 12, 14-hour days, mandatory overtime, because they couldn't make a change in their process saying, hey, we really can't fire people right now, but we have to because those are the rules that are in a contract with the union. Same thing in Trimet.
I don't know about that. I don't know if that applies.
I'm saying, hey, if people violate the rules in probation and when they sign up work with Trimet, if they don't meet the qualifications, they're gone. Same as the Fred Meyer's warehouse. Now Fred Meyer's is offering a $1,500 signing bonus just to try to get more people to come in, and they're still struggling. This is what I'm saying is the rules of termination.
I don't know if this applies to Trimet.
It should be a set in stone thing. I mean, if a driver's struggling and is screwing up, and we say fired all the time on the dispatch calls.
I think it's pretty hard to get fired. It's pretty hard.
We're kind of joking.
Yeah, well, we are joking. We're not serious, but it's pretty hard to get fired from Trimet, man. It's very hard.
Trimet?
Yeah,
Trimet. We know what the soups do. They're on you and they're calling you for being hot. They're calling that kind of stress because they're doing what they're supposed to do, and it falls on your record. Even stupid PAs, which shouldn't be PAs, go on your record. You get a stupid freaking fitness check or something that you shouldn't even get a fitness check for. Trimet's only operating by the rules that they've operated.
I don't buy this.
They need to loosen all that crap. That way they can keep people.
I don't know what listen, you.
The rules are way too tight.
You're not listening to me, okay? I don't know what the attrition rate is, but that's not even the point. The point is they don't have enough drivers, okay? And don't tell me that.
That's what I'm saying. Is don't chase new drivers out.
How do you know that's happening? You don't know that's happening. You're just assuming that. We don't know how many drivers get failed. I don't know how many.
Well, actually, we kind of do because you posted the salary numbers for drivers, and a lot of them are pretty high, which means they're tenured. There's not a lot of lower numbers on those salary reports, which means that it's the newer people that they're lacking, which means they don't have a lot of new drivers, just based off the salary reports that you've posted on Twitter many times. That's just common sense. So the fact is, if you look at those numbers, the newer people really aren't sticking around as long as the older people, because
then they need to hire 3 times as many people. You're trying to tell me. You're trying to tell me that this is
loosen the tightness on these probation rules to help newer drivers stay. It's cheaper to keep them. It's cheaper to keep an employee than to hire somebody else. So that's what I'm saying. Is work with the newer people to keep them instead of having all these crazy probation restrictions, like Trimet driver got canned on.
Oh yeah, he got fucked. Yeah, well, you know,
because it costs Trimet more to hire. It costs any business more to hire somebody than it does to keep somebody they already have. But Trimet's not doing that. They're going in the reverse. You'll make it through probation, you're gone, and the salary numbers by operators that you post prove that point. Certain people, like the Dan Kellys, Dan Christensen, the Rippies, the Pazzies, the Connie, Eric, PCSC, these guys, they fought through it, they're going to make it, but a lot of these new drivers, by salary number, you can see just by looking at them, is a lot of turnover. And that's where Trimet can fix it by not having such a hard stance and provide more training to keep more of these people, and they wouldn't be out there with a shortage of drivers. That's from my operations experience. That's what I see.
Okay, I think that you're a little distorted about it. I think the problem is that they don't want to hire enough drivers. They don't want to do it. That's what I think. Okay, I think that they want to keep the staff to a minimum. They're not interested in spending any more money on personnel than they have to. And that's an intentional decision because they don't really give a fuck about the people waiting for the buses and the trains. They don't, okay? They just don't. It's just not a priority to them, okay? It's not.
Here again, we agree. You say they don't want to spend money on hiring. And I'm already telling you, by looking at the numbers, they're firing new hires during probation based off the salary reports at a high volume. It costs them more money that you say they don't want to spend to hire somebody when they've already hired somebody. It costs them a lot less to take somebody that's in probation and maybe made a mistake and work with them, loosen the rules, and keep that.
I don't know if you're right about that. When they hire somebody, so they're only paying them like 15. What is it, 16 an hour? No benefits until
they said 17, but
yeah, but no benefits. No benefits. Okay.
Yeah, but you also have to look at the recruiting costs because they're out on the website.
That's nothing. The recruiting. No, there's no recruiting.
You said they don't want to spend the money to hire people.
They don't want to hire people with money, with benefits and pension. They don't want to actually hire a full-time employee. They don't want that because that's going to cost $100,000 a year to hire an employee.
I don't think that. I think they'd rather have a full staff.
Well, I don't think they prioritize it at all. I think that they don't think it's important. That's what I think.
Well, here's the problem. You know what the biggest problem of all this is?
What?
Well, you already know what the biggest problem of this is. Besides Sammy Boy, who's out there with the town halls and stuff, we never hear from all the other six-figure salaries.
No, we don't.
Yeah. Those are the ones that are below Sam that make these decisions and on the rail side, on the bus side. And their assistants make six figures, and their assistant makes six figures. So you got all this crap load of fucking government six-figure employees who are like the 100-degree thing. I'm sure that wasn't a Sammy thing. Sam was probably sleeping in his bed with his teddy bear. Had no idea that was put out on social media. And he probably still doesn't know that was put on social media.
Yeah,
but
probably
the people
not.
that are making the people below Sam, they're making those types of decisions until it hits the supervisors and everything that we can hear on the scanner. That large group of people, those large salaries, they're not accountable to anybody.
No.
And they should. And that's why I told Ozzy, hey, it goes to Sam. It went to Doug before. It went to Neil before him. Who's going to be held accountable for it? Sam has to be held accountable. It doesn't matter if it's some random person 10 rungs down the ladder from Sam that Sam's never met in his life that said, let's go with the 100-degree rule. Guess what? At some point, he reports to you, Sam, so you're going to have to suck it.
Yeah.
You didn't know what was going on. You were smoking a joint, laying in your bed with your teddy bear. I don't know what you were doing. But that guy, at the end of the day, ladder ends at you. So that 100-degree rule falls on you. Just like the heat dome, like all the heat dome crap. You think Sam had a hand in all that crap?
No, I don't know.
Sam didn't know trains were melting. That was taken care of by people many rungs down the ladder from Sam.
Right.
And they fucked it up. But in the end of the day, like I told Ozzy, it has to fall on Sam.
Well, there's no accountability at all for anybody in government. You know that. They can fuck up, and there's going to never be any accountability for them. It's the way it is.
Well, that's why Ozzy joked back when I said that the clown show, it's not about who's running the clown show, it's who hired the guy to run the clown show in that one tweet. And I eyed Ozzy, and then he replied, that was me, clowns lives matter. Like, so Ozzy's not even taking it seriously.
Well, Ozzy's just going to make he'll make excuses for them too. That's his job, That's what they do.
Well, he actually asked me, because he said, you made a tweet that the shelters don't open unless it's 100 degrees. So I immediately called Washington County. And they said they had shelters open, even though it was only in the 90s. So I tweeted back, said, no, they're open.
Yeah.
Tri-County area, Washington County, they're open. So what are you going to, and he hasn't replied.
Yeah, no,
that wasn't that long.
Well, he's look, he's always going to apologize for Trimet. He's never going to say anything negative. That's just his job, okay? That's the board members are there. The board members are there to make Trimet look good.
It's not paid position.
Yeah. All right.
Just setting them up for the future, but
okay, all right.
Hey, at least Ozzy's on Twitter.
At least he has the guts to do it. Yeah.
I give him credit for that.
So do I. I mean, he's the only one that's ever had the guts to even engage. I'm shocked because most of those elites don't care what we think, at all, and they disdain us. Even Ozzy himself called us the sewer. He said it himself. So I mean, that's how they feel about us. They feel that the public is just a bunch of ignorant morons, and we need to be led by them, and they really believe that they're smarter, et cetera, et cetera. All right, well, okay. I think we can conclude this episode. I don't think we can call this Trimet. I don't think we can call this an episode of the board meeting, but I'll figure out a different title for it. Okay.
Well, we need to do it tomorrow.
I don't know if I'll invite you because you take it off track, man. I wanted to watch the board meeting.
We stand back. We agreed to disagree, but then we re-agreed again. So
yeah. Okay. All right. Pootie.
At the end of the day, we agreed. Next time, let's get Hobo on here.
All right. Okay. All right. We'll see you. You take care of yourself.
I love y'all.
I love you too. Take care, man.
Later.
All right. Well, that didn't exactly go the direction I wanted to watch board meeting instead of debating Pootie. But Pootie's got to be Pootie, and that's the way it goes. Well, it's a fun debate, if nothing else. We're even on the same side, so I don't even know why we're debating. Let me just say this much. He thinks that somehow the union is involved with this lack of operators, and I say no, that's not true. Trimet and every other fucking transit district everywhere in this country doesn't take service on the ground seriously. Okay, they're all in their elite. How many capital projects can we steal money from the taxpayers and hand it to the elites? That's what this Trimet, after all, is just government by another name. It's government. It gets its money by stealing money from the taxpayers, and it redistributes the money to the elites. It does redistribute some of that money to the operators, people like me who drove, and we do get something out of that. But the big money goes to the executives of the transit districts and the capital projects people. They take most of the tax money for themselves. Yes, peons such as myself do get a little piece of it, and I suppose I should be thankful that I got a job, right? But let's look at the whole story. They don't take it seriously. Trimet could hire 3 times the amount of people they're hiring. They don't have the backup. When the shit hits the fan, who pays? It's the riders. The riders are stranded. That's unconscionable. That's a crime. You know, you're just leaving people stranded. That's criminal. And that's all I have to say about it.